I have time for chill things. I'll say that. What about you?
Yeah, so I have no social life, but that's because I live in my child.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be like an assumption video. So I don't know if you guys, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you have probably saw this guest on my channel 3, 4, maybe even 5 times. I don't know. Her name's Alyssa. But pretty much I asked you guys on Instagram to give me like all your assumptions about law school. And I thought it would be funny for Alyssa and I to like go through your assumptions, but also talk about like all of the assumptions we had and the differences now. Very interesting video, very honest, transparent video, as always. Definitely think you should watch it. Alyssa goes to Georgetown. I go to UCLA. So yeah, we have some different experiences as well. We don't agree on every single thing. Different experiences, different codes, everything, you know, but rankings 14, 15, but whatever. Either way, you guys should watch the video, like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Okay guys, so we have Alyssa again on my channel. If you guys have watched all my other videos with Alyssa, I think we had like what, 3 or 4 other videos that you were in. A lot of yeah, we had a lot of opinions back then when we were 0Ls. We thought we knew a lot. We thought we knew what we wanted to do. We thought we knew how law school was going to be. We just had a lot of opinions. So pretty much I asked you guys on Instagram to send me like all your assumptions about law school. So Alyssa and I thought it would be fun just to like go through these assumptions, compare like what we thought and what we think now. And then we have like some other stuff we're going to talk to you guys about too. So Alyssa is at Georgetown, if you guys didn't remember. I don't know if Alyssa wants to say anything else, or if you just want to say hi, we can get started.
Yeah, let's get started. Let's have fun.
Okay. So I'm going to go in order. Some of these were like repeats, but the very first assumption, some of these I won't ask because some of these are not really relevant to like where we're at right now. But so there's something on here about beating the bell curve. We wouldn't know about that just yet. We don't have grades yet. Like, have you had a graded assignment in any class yet?
No. So like for the way we do it at Georgetown is your legal practice class is a year long. I think that's pretty standard across schools from what I've heard from my friends at other schools. So there's a lot of assignments for legal writing, but none of them are graded. That's really, really misleading though. Because a lot of the times your writing sample for all those jobs you're going to be applying to in December comes directly from the assignments you do in legal practice. So it's in your best interest to give it your best shot. But no, I won't be receiving a grade for legal practice until spring. And then of course, most at Georgetown, I don't know about y'all, but 1L grades don't even really come out till like late January, February.
Exactly. Yeah. So for us, so I think your class is called legal practice. Mine is called legal research and writing. And like, I think it's worth 5 credits instead of the other classes are worth 3 or something like that. So you get like, we have 2 ungraded memos, 3 ungraded research assignments. Then we have 1 graded memo, 1 graded research assignment this semester. And then next semester, I'm not sure how it works, but yeah, it's a year-long class. So this semester, we only get 3 grades. That's what you have too, just 3 grades? Yeah, and then we won't get them until January, I don't think, or something like that.
So you'll be applying to jobs without grades, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
You really won't know what type of student you are until January, February.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, we'll do another video later about the bell curve. We won't share our grades, but we'll give you guys a little bit of insight, you know. Something about scholarships are impossible to find. So I will actually touch on this because we definitely both got scholarships, but even like for my 2L year, I plan on applying for other scholarships. My 3L year, like I plan on applying for scholarships every year. You too?
There are outside scholarships for 2Ls and 3Ls. There are fellowships. A lot of firms will do like you know what? I'm not even gonna pretend to remember which firm it is, but there's a couple of firms that do like a pro bono diversity fellowship where you get a scholarship that goes towards your school. So if you don't get money up front, there's always ways to find it. Honestly, you know, getting a scholarship from my school was a lot easier than I thought it would be. You know, you really have to try. I got full ride at places that I didn't even think I would get into. So, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Like, you know, I won't say shoot your shot willy-nilly, but, you know, reach for a couple schools and you'd be surprised how easy it is.
Yeah, seriously. And I like, since I'm not going to Georgetown, like I don't care about revealing, like my Georgetown scholarship was like $50K or something per year. So I mean, like Yeah, like I got good money. I could have went to Georgetown too. So like you definitely can get money. And I know people will probably look at my stats and say, well, that's a lot of money. But I mean, I had other factors, but you can negotiate. I negotiated like 3 times. So you can get scholarships. You just got to be persistent and know your value, like in relationships. So, okay. So, oh, this one. The students are all really competitive. Cold calls are as scary as they seem. I'll let you go first.
So that's I'm gonna break that down into 2 parts. Cold calls are the worst. They are scary. They are the worst. I don't really know what to say to you about cold calls, except at the end of the day, your final is graded blindly. So your professor can think you're an idiot, and your classmates can think you're an idiot, but your final is graded blindly. So their assumptions of you won't come into play when it comes to your grade. But yeah, like cold calls just suck. Like, sorry, it just sucks. No way around it. You can prep all you like, but I mean, I had a case that I read backwards in front, and I still flubbed it when I got called on. So it's whatever. It's hazing, but it's everyone else has gone through it. You'll live.
You will.
And then as for the competitiveness, I think that varies with school. So Georgetown is like we're known for being really friendly for the T14. You know, it's there's a little bit of competition in some sections. I'm in what they call the party section.
Really?
Yeah, section 5 is the best. Honestly, we have the best people. Like all the other sections will be having drama and fights, and we all like each other in my section. So it depends on your section. It depends on your school. Obviously, it's inherently competitive. Only so many people can get an A. I mean, that's, again, it's like cold calls. It's part of law school. Like, it's just baked into the system. And we can talk about why the system needs to change later, but it ain't gonna change by the end of this application cycle. So it's like, you know, it really depends on your friends, really depends on your section, really depends on your school, but you can avoid the competitive people if that's not your jam. For me personally, a little bit of competition motivates me. But if you don't want to be competitive, you can find, if you're going to a school that's large enough, you can find people who are not competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you keep your business to yourself, you know, which I think is a big thing.
Yep.
If you keep your business to yourself, nobody can be competitive with you because they don't know what they're competing against.
Exactly. Yeah, and then it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me though that people are competitive, because it's like, we don't get grades. So you have no idea of knowing how I'm doing. You don't know how you're doing. So it's like, we can't really even debate on anything because we don't know.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
You could be doing great in the class and end up getting I think the lowest grade you can get at Georgetown is a B-.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you really can't compete until January, so.
It doesn't. And even then though, it's kind of like, there's really no reason for you to go around telling your grades, because honestly and truly, your grades are going to be apparent from certain things. If you have really good grades, you're probably going to get a firm job if that's what you wanted. So you don't really have to even tell your grades. It's going to kind of be obvious. And you
don't have to be that person, and everybody just likes
people will figure it out. People will figure it out, honestly, because people will, especially if there's somebody in your class that like used to talk a lot and always ask questions, then they start getting like really quiet the next semester. You'll figure stuff out. This is like stuff I've heard from other 2Ls and 3Ls. They say like the people that usually like talk the most in class usually don't do the best. So like, don't let the people that have a question every single 5 minutes scare you, because no. What do they call? What is it, like a gunner? They call them gunners. Yeah, don't let the gunner scare you. Yeah. About cold calls. So like, our cold calls are like a little different because they're online. I'm pretty sure if it was in person, it would be different too. But like, so like I have one professor, I mentioned this in another video too, but like one professor, he does it like reverse alphabetical order. So you kind of can like tell when you're going to be cold called, what day, if you like go through the calendar. And then my other professor, he lets you know like beforehand. He'll like reach out and say like, okay, or he actually posts a list. So you'll know like what day you'll be cold called. So like I know I'll be cold called like a day already in November, like I already know. And then my other professor, his is random, it's torts, but like I mean, he just wants you to repeat the case. Like, he doesn't even ask you any more questions besides like repeat the case. And then it'll be like, okay, well, how about if we switch this? And then the question is so simple, you still know the answer. So, I mean, I've messed up though. In every class besides torts, I've got cold call, and I was like, I don't know.
Cold calls.
Yeah.
And nobody remembers too.
Yeah, that's the thing, because everybody messes up.
Yeah. I'm talking to someone, like, unless you do something really, really off the wall crazy.
Yeah. Or like disrespectful, if you're like rude or something, people remember that. But okay. Next question. I don't know. This is weird. We wouldn't know this, but I just want to mention this. Somebody said most people don't have a great GPA. Have I heard about that? There's like people walking outside my door, but I have heard that a lot of people don't do as well as they thought they would. Because I think people think like, oh, I was an A student. I graduated this and I have all these other like accolades and stuff. But I have heard people not doing like they thought they would. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, so I can't speak to all schools, but at Georgetown, our curve is pretty generous. So like, you really can't get below a B minus. So like, everyone's GPAs are objectively good, like, because they don't let us get below a certain number. And I think that's pretty standard for all the T14. I can't. I
think UCLA is like that too. I think we can only get a B minus. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like once you get above a certain ranking, they like, they don't even give out C's. So like, I guess I don't really know if, so like objectively everybody has a great GPA. But also like, once you get up towards the higher end of the curve, that's really tough to get. Especially because only certain people, only a few people per class can get the highest A. So like, most people probably have like a median or maybe even below median grade. But again, there's jobs out there for everyone. So like, maybe you won't clerk for the Supreme Court, but again, you're in law school. Like you already the biggest hurdle is to get into law school.
It works out. It all works out. Like, I mean, and I've talked to people that had like all different GPAs. Like, I've talked to people that did share their GPAs with me. I'm talking to someone that may have had like a 3.2, 3.3, someone that had a 3.5, someone that had a 3.8. And they all were doing what they wanted to do eventually. Like, so I mean, I think like sometimes with your 1L summer though, your grades may matter more if you want like a firm job. But even then though, I mean, it still depends on the firm. It depends on like what other factors you have. It depends on your interviewing. So I mean, I don't know. We obviously don't know just yet. We can do more on that after, we do jobs and stuff. But I don't know. They definitely matter, but you're not just a number is what I would say. So yeah, that's all I got.
GPA only matters for certain things. So.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you want to do public interest and stuff, you're going to get a job. Yeah. I'm sure like career services will talk to you guys about that when you get to that point. They'll talk to us about that when we get to that point. So we don't know. So this one kind of goes with the competitive thing, but someone said you can't trust or be 100 with new law school friends because of the competition. I think that goes back to just like, you got to be careful what you tell people. Like if you want to be an open book and tell everybody all your business, personal, educational, everything, that's kind of on you. But also like, I'm really big on making like genuine relationships. There's some people that I've met that I'm like, oh, I don't mind telling you a little bit more because I do trust you. And if it turns out not to be what it was, whatever. But there's other people that I am like, okay, I'm only going to talk to you about these things. So I mean, you just have to read people well.
Yeah, it's the same as like anywhere in real life. Because like even when I got my master's, like, I tend to keep my grades and stuff close to the vest. Like my best friends didn't even know I graduated magna cum laude until I walked across that stage, and they were like, "What? She's smart." Like that's just how I am. I don't. I definitely come off as like a class clown type sometimes, and I don't think people realize how hard I worked in grad school. But you don't have to tell anybody anything you don't want to tell them, and frankly, I think it's a life skill in general to know how not to share your business with everybody, because that's just something you learn as an adult. Like, not everybody has your best interest in heart. But there's good people. Like,
there are.
I have friends who I'm close with, really close with. You know, you go through, I don't want to call it trauma, but you go through a lot with people. Mm-hmm. And so you learn to trust certain people. Like, you're gonna know. Like, you'll know who you trust and who you don't. Like, and if you don't have that gut feeling, then
just don't tell anybody. Just keep everything close. You'd be better off doing that. But don't be like shady either, though, because one thing I will say is I have met a few people where I feel like they like plant things or like lie, and I'm like, why are you lying? Like, just don't say anything. Like, what? You know, so some people are weird. So just be watchful.
Yeah, just trust the vibes. Like, you'll know when people's weird. Mm-hmm. The people who overthink it are the ones who are just like, what is wrong with you?
Like, let's just study. Like, so yeah.
Like, just focus on passing towards, honey.
Yeah, it's okay. So you'll be able to read people, especially if you guys are in person by the time next year. You can definitely read people. You can read mannerisms. You can read all of that. So you'll be okay. If we can do it via Zoom, if we can read people only seeing them on Zoom, you'll be fine. So we have a few on here about no personal life, no social life. You have no life, ! I guess I'll start with that. I definitely do not have a social life in terms of like traveling and doing like going out every single week with my friends, like going out to eat, getting dressed up, stuff like that. But like if my friend, if we're going to get our nails done, I can make time for that. If we're going just to grab like lunch and I don't have to get dressed up, I have time for that. If my friend wants to come over and watch movies one night, I have time for that. So you have time to do things that don't require much. Does that make sense? Like you have time to do lightweight things. Now, if your friends are having like birthday dinners and trips and all of that, that may be a little harder because you need the time to get an outfit, get dressed, put on makeup, go there. But like chill things, I have time for chill things. I'll say that. What about you?
Yeah, so I have no social life, but that's because I live in my childhood bedroom right now. But like, law school is what you make of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's, other than like legal writing,
yeah,
you aren't gonna have assignments like you have in others. It's not like when I tell you law school is not like anything you've ever done before. Because I used to be like, oh, I have a master's. Like I've been through this. Like no, it's nothing like you've ever done before. It is different. But like you have time for what you make time for.
Yeah.
So I make a point to spend time with my family since I'm living here with them and I haven't lived with them in a while.
Yeah.
You know, like my best friend is pregnant right now, and we're in the same city for the first time in years, so I make time to go over and see her. You know, like Latasia was saying, like things that take a lot of planning and a lot of coordination may not be, you know.
No.
But also, your friends are gonna have to, if your friends are real friends,
mm-hmm.
they work around you. So, like for example, I'm a workaholic, and my friends know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had friends who have gotten upset with me or testy with me because I'm not willing to drop everything I'm doing at the moment to do what they want to do. And you know, this friend, you're gonna lose friendships, but those are, I've also had friendships where, you know, my friend Tom will text me without doubt every week, and he'll just be like, hey, just thinking of you, making sure school's going good, text me back when you can, no worries, but like just want to say hey. And those, you know, I have a lot of friends like that. I picked on one, but I have a lot of friends who will just send me memes all day, and like they know, they don't expect a response, and I get to them when I get to them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if your friends are true friends, they'll adjust to your schedule. And you know, like I said, when there's something like my grandma's 80th birthday is coming up,
yeah,
and I'm reading ahead and I'm working around so that I can go up and I can go see her and celebrate her. You know, you're gonna have less time, but it makes you become more discerning,
mm-hmm.
and it makes you put in the work for the things that matter to you and the people that matter to you. Frankly, there are some people that I realize I don't really care about them.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I think I realized that a few years ago, but but no, like I think even like I know someone was saying like for me something that's really weird. I actually watch more TV now, but let me explain why. Because I always have my TV on when I think because I'm at home, I need background noise. So it's that I watch more, but I know a lot more about like 90 Day Fiance than I ever wanted to, because it's something that like keeps me awake. Like I can't just study in like a quiet room, and music, I may get like too into music sometimes, so I'll like zone out. So like that's like a weird thing for me. So everybody's situation is going to be different. There may be things you pick up on more of when you're in law school because they help you focus. They help you be like more organized, you know? So it's different. It's going to be different for everybody. But like my TV is on more than I think it's ever been in my life. But it's just because like if I'm writing something, I need background noise. So, you know, everything is a balance, and you'll learn what works for you.
Yeah. But if you want a social life, you can have one.
Yeah, you can have one. Just don't expect to like, you won't be taking any trips. That's not going to happen. You won't be going on like, if you have like a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and y'all like used to do like date nights every Saturday, that probably won't happen. You know, you can eat lunch together. Yeah, you're going to have to make some sacrifices for sure. Like there's plenty of times I wanted to go home. My nephew's birthday was like, last week. I wanted to go home. There was no way possible I could have went home. It just wasn't going to happen. So, you know, you just have to learn what you'll have to sacrifice. But I know for us, we're out of school for like more than a month from December to January. Are you guys out of school for that long too? Yeah.
They pushed our first day back another week too, just recently.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, you'll have time then. Of course, like you will be applying for jobs, but like that should be like a 2-week span from what I've heard. I don't know. But then you'll have time to go home and do something. If you want to take a trip then, if you have the money, which we can talk about in a second. If you have the money to do all these things too, that's another thing too. Some stuff is just like, I don't even have the money to go do that with you anyway. So I'm kind of glad I didn't have the time. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have the time because I wasn't paying for that. So, I mean, it's a balance. You won't even have, depending on how your life was before, you may not even have the money to do certain things anymore because your budget will be different because you're living off of loans now, you know. So
and you learn how to back out of things. I'm so good at canceling people now. I was not, but no, like really, I'm such a yes woman. Like I've actually grown a bit of a backbone since starting law school, and it's good because honestly, you know, if you know, speak into existence when we're bad and bougie and making 7 figures and everything, like you want the circle tight anyway. So.
No, you definitely do. Yeah. Like I haven't lost any friends because of law school. I may have lost a few associates, friends over other stuff, but I think it's just as you grow and get older, you're going to realize everybody just isn't on the same page as you. And sometimes certain friendships can like hold you back a little bit. So don't look at it as like if you lose a friend, it's horrible. Don't like change up either, but you know, some people have to go.
You know before going into law school who is a friend to you, because everyone who I knew was going to be by my side today is still here.
Exactly. Like I have one friend, she literally will call me like 4 times and she'll be like, okay, that's fine. I'll call you back later. Good luck studying. And she knows what I'm doing. But it's like she'll keep calling back because she knows sometimes I'll forget to call back. It's not even like rude, like answer the phone. It's like, I'll call you back in 2 hours. Because she knows I will forget to call you back if you don't call me back. But she's not like rude about it. So you just have to have understanding friends that are like, oh, I know you're studying and I know you're busy. I'm just making sure you're actually alive. Can you say you're okay? Are you breathing over there? Like, yeah. So
just tell them ahead of time. Just be like, if what I just said, if that makes you think, oh, I can't tell people, then that should be a pretty good red flag right there.
Exactly.
But like, just tell people before the semester starts, like, hey, I'm gonna be super busy. I have like this much reading to do. You know, like law school's very intense, and you know, like if you text me, please don't take it personal if I don't text you back right away. And then I try to make my best effort to like at least like, you know, like on iMessage you can react to stuff. That's my bare minimum. I try to at least react to your text and be like, hey, seen, appreciated, thank you. And you know, if you tell your friends you're gonna be busy, they should understand, just like you would. Like if you know, if you're worried about your social life, like think how you would treat your friends if they got really busy.
Exactly. And then again, like Alyssa said, you'll know your real friends, because if you're losing friends over there, that's not your friends. That's childish. So you'll learn. Speaking of like being busy though, someone said, word for word, there's no days off from studying, even the weekends. And then someone followed that up with that I'll be up every night until 2 a.m. studying.
It depends on the person. Honestly, I know people who like to do a little bit of studying every night.
Okay.
And so when they get out of Zoom class, they sit down and they have the strength of mind to do a little bit of work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person. There are people who like to do a little bit of work every day.
Yeah.
There are people who like to take a day off and make sure that that's their sacred day. And then there are like people who will work whatever, and they have some things in their schedules that are non-negotiable. So I fall in that last category. I don't really care about working on a Saturday. Honestly, the jobs I've worked before, weekends were a non-thing anyway. I've always worked weird jobs with weird hours, and so for me, it's like Saturday's just a day. Saturday's a day to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't take days off. But I do every Sunday morning. I watch Saturday Night Live. That's my tradition. That's my church. Every Friday I try to spend a little bit of time with my siblings. And then like if I'm not super busy, like I try to go to the store with my dad, or like just spend so I don't take days off, but not because I couldn't take days off. If I really doubled down on working after class, I could have the whole weekend off if I wanted to.
Yep.
But I don't, because I like to watch TV and sleep after class.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely think there's like, you can make your own schedule, but you have to make a schedule that is realistic and that you actually will stick with. And you also have to be like the type of person that realizes, even if you have a schedule, some days you may not be able to do that schedule because you are tired. And don't like force yourself to do something. If you had on your schedule to read one night from like 7 to 10 and you're reading the same sentence 10 times, stop reading. Do something else. Relax your mind, because it's not beneficial at that point. If you get cold call, you won't have any idea what you just read. So, I mean, and also, I don't know if you're already at this point, but also for some of my classes, I've learned what to read and what to skim. So a lot of times you will have like 30 pages of reading for one class, but you know what the professor actually cares about. So really you have 12 pages of reading. You have 18 pages. You don't really have 30, because you know this whole section he doesn't even really care about. So I mean, as you go through school, you'll learn what you can and cannot skip. And then also you have Quimby on the days that you are you just couldn't do it. I mean, there's other resources. Yeah, like we're not saying take the shortcuts, use those supplemental for sure. But if you're really not feeling it, I would definitely put your mental health before you just was like, I need to read every single thing. No.
There were some weeks when I look at like my contracts professor, I love her, but homegirl thinks that I read like 20 pages a minute. And there are some days when I look at, it's at my contract class is Tuesday, Thursday. It's Wednesday night. I get out of student government at like 10 sometimes. It's Wednesday night. I got like 40 pages due tomorrow and I haven't even started. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just get up early, get on Quimby, skim everything I need to know, and get through class. Because at the end of the day, like, first of all, you really only need to know the rule from the case and the holding and a little bit of the facts to make things apply, because you don't have to memorize every part of a case. You really don't, and that's something you learn the hard way.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like, it's all about choices. Nobody is forcing you to stay up till 2 a.m. That's a choice you make.
For real.
And it's all checks and balances. You know what? If I'm too tired tonight, like for example, today actually, I didn't really get much done school-wise. I did do study group and I did do some government stuff, but like I didn't really get any like outlining or note-taking done. That's okay. I'll do that on Saturday. Yeah. Or actually, that's my sister's birthday is tomorrow, so I probably won't get anything done tomorrow, but that's okay. Sunday.
It's your sister's birthday.
It's choices. I just made like 10 choices just now.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know, like a realistic schedule though, I guess, because someone else asked about this too. They said there will be too much reading to handle and my social life will be non-existent. So it's definitely honestly not too much reading to handle. I'll be honest. If you read ahead or if you really stick to your reading, you'll be able to read everything. Like they don't overwhelm you like that. You don't have 300 pages to read. Like it'll be like I don't know, 80 to 100 pages, I guess, a night. And then even some nights, sometimes your professor will like be moving slow and you won't even get to the reading. So that'll save you, like you'll have not a free day, but you'll have a day to catch up. So I mean, it's not that crazy, especially when you learn what you need to read. I guess at the beginning though, definitely read everything because you don't know your professor yet. But I mean, you can read beforehand. Some people I know, they read everything for the week on Saturday. Like for our professors that give us everything, they read it on Saturday. I tried to do that. I was losing my mind. I was at Marshall's at 12 o'clock shopping because I needed like a break. So that didn't work for me. I just had to shop. I was like, I can't read. I had to shop. So I had to stop doing that because I was spending money. So, I mean, there's certain triggers for certain people. Like I cannot read for 8 hours straight. Mm-hmm. For me, I was going crazy. I needed food. I needed clothes. I needed home decor. My mind was thinking about everything else during those 8 hours. So like that didn't work for me. But I know some people really read all day on Saturday. And so throughout the week, they're able to like outline or synthesize their notes or hang with their friends. They're able to go to the beach. And honestly, I know people that have taken trips since they've been in law school. I have people in my section that have taken trips. They went to the beach, they've went freaking across the country, like to the East Coast to go home for stuff. So I mean, again, but they probably read way before. So I mean, it just depends. Like if you know you have something coming up, you'll balance that. Also with the 2 a.m. thing, some people are night owls, some people are, early bird. So that depends on you too. So like if you focus better at 2 a.m. and your class doesn't start at 7, do that, So you have to figure out what works for you. One thing I will say is going into this process, I was asking everybody for their opinion on stuff. And I had to like literally take everyone's opinion and then make my own. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's good to definitely hear from a bunch of people because you can put all that together. But like, don't expect what one person did to be the one thing that works for you too, because it won't be.
And don't let anybody shame you too, because I know people who are like, "Oh, you don't work past 10?"
No,
because I like to sleep. Like, no. There are people who will like brag about not sleeping. And it's just like, ew, no, like, yeah. I love to sleep.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite. Like for me, I will be up at like 2 a.m., but my first class doesn't start until 10:45. So I had people that will be like, oh, I was up this morning at 7. And I'm like, I didn't wake up until 10 and I feel great. Sorry. Like everybody's just different. So, you just you gotta find out what works for you. But yes, you will have a lot of reading. Yes, you will have to sacrifice some things for your social life. Yes, the cold calls can be bad, but also you can have a cold call and kill it. I had a cold call and my professor was like, oh, you did a really good job.
I had a cold call where I hadn't read and my professor had just said the name of the case and then she called on me and I kid you not, literally, I had just typed it into Quimby and Quimby pulled it up and it just happened to pull up the answer to the question the professor asked me in like all of this happened in like less than a second. Yeah. And she was like, oh, wow. She's like, you really read into that case. And I was like, cold calls are stupid.
Yeah, but you'll have good ones and you'll have bad ones. And the ones that you have that are good, they'll give you some reassurance. So you'll have moments that pick you up in class and you'll have moments in class where you're like, I really just want these last 30 minutes to be over. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days. It's like anything else, but I don't know. You'll be okay though. Like I had a cold call that I thought was horrible and I texted my friend and he was like, what? I'm not being funny, but I didn't hear all of that happen. Like you're good. Oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, you didn't even sound that bad. Like what?
I had a friend call me in tears and she was like, oh my God, everyone thinks I'm so stupid. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, I was playing games on my tablet.
Like people honestly are not paying attention to you like that. Trust me.
If I could put one tagline on this video, well, 2, it's you'll be okay, and then literally nobody cares about you.
They really don't. It's like, oh, you did bad. I don't remember.
Like I said, unless you say some real out of pocket something.
Yeah, you have to say something crazy, or you have to be like. We do have people in my section that like talk every single class, and so when they talk up, their voice, so it's a little different. But I mean, you'll have different people. You have people in your class too that when they finally do talk, you're like, I didn't even know you were in this section. And then you have some people that talk a lot. So you'll have a balance of people in your classes too. So I'm definitely middle ground for sure. What else do we have? That I will be broke the entire time I'm in law school because I can't work full time like I do now.
I mean, that's not wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess it depends on what broke is to you. It depends on where you spend your money at too. Because if you're somebody that was good with budgeting beforehand, you might actually be okay. Whereas somebody like me, a budget, what's a budget? I don't know. So I mean, it depends. It depends. It depends on what broke is to you too. Now, if you were like working, you were making very good money, definitely could be a contrast for sure. But like I said, you won't be doing as much, so you won't be spending as much. Like if you were like doing a lot when you were working full time and like going out a lot and spending a lot of money on food and doing stuff with your friends and stuff, you won't be spending that money like that anymore. So
yeah. Congrats, you won't have time.
Yeah, so it's a balance. You won't have time to buy flights and stuff.
I'll because I've been in grad school before, I can kind of compare, but I'm a student. And I'm pretty much on par for student level broke. Like, I don't think you're going to be any broker than any other student would be. So imagine college, it's like that again.
And even then, it's not like, and even then, it's still not like ramen noodle broke. It's not that broke. It's really not. You can still do stuff. You can still buy lunch every now and then. I mean, it also depends on though, like if you want to take out your max student loans, if you're somebody that doesn't want to take out the full amount, because then you're going to have different levels of money then too. It just depends on how much you want to take out. I know at UCLA, we can do like, I don't even know the word for it, but like pretty much you can get more money. You can say like, oh, well, I can't afford to pay for parking. So can you give me more money for parking? Oh, I bought a laptop, but I couldn't afford it. Can you pay me back for my laptop? They have where like if your rent costs more than what they allotted for rent, they'll give you more money for that. So, I mean, there's plenty of situations where you can, I can't think of what it's called, some type of authorization, pretty much just to get more money. So, I mean, if you are going broke, you can apply to get your cost of attendance raised and they'll give you more money. It's more loans, but you can get more money.
Yeah. If you're responsible, you can make it work. And I mean, no, you're not going to be like taking vacations or, buying Telfars or
although
I bought a Telfar. But like,
although I really want 2 of them and I have like the notifications on.
I bought 2.
See, you see what I mean? We're still doing fine, so you'll be okay.
I also live with my parents, so my rent is 0. But like,
you'll be okay.
I'm student broke. It's just like it's part of being a student. Like, if you make it work, it'll work. Yeah, just make a budget and stick to it like you can. Mm-hmm.
Do
like you're not gonna be rich, but you're a student.
Yeah. Okay, so that was pretty much most of the assumptions, but I did want to like follow up with some other questions I think you guys will be interested in. So, what classes are you taking right now, Alyssa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Georgetown is a little weird this year. Just due to everything that's going on, they really significantly reduced class sizes, and that makes scheduling a little weird. So I am taking contracts, civil procedure, criminal justice, which we don't have criminal law first year like a lot of schools do. We have criminal justice or criminal procedure. So it's a different class than most first year criminal law. And usually you don't take it till second semester, but I'm taking it first. Mm-hmm. And then I have my legal practice class. Okay. So that's what I'm taking. It's not bad. It's a little weird taking criminal justice before con law, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Most times you take con law first.
Okay.
But it works. I have a great professor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm taking criminal law, civil procedure, torts, and legal research and writing. So, and then next semester I think I have constitutional law, property, and contracts. Yep. Yeah.
I have property, constitutional law, torts.
Okay.
And then one more.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's not. Everyone takes the same classes first year. It's just in a different order.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll have different professors, different sections, different class sizes, stuff like that. But everybody will eventually take all the same, like 7, 8, 9 classes or whatever. So yeah.
Unless you're doing the weird curriculum B at Georgetown. But
yeah, Georgetown does have. Yeah, I was gonna do that if I went there, but yeah, which is a whole different thing. I think I know someone that's doing curriculum B. If anybody's interested, leave me some comments down below, and I can have you talk to someone about it. But other things, Alyssa. So, what activities are you involved in? I know you ran for something and you won. So, what was that process like?
Yeah, so I ran for Student Bar Association. I am one of 10 1L delegates. Mm-hmm. So that's fun. I get to participate in sort of our student government process, and it's a lot of work. Well, it's as much work as you want to make it, and I'm very passionate about it, so I make it a lot of work for myself. But it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be. But that's really fun. That's probably my biggest activity outside of class. Georgetown has the Supreme Court Institute, which is it's the only law school in the world to have this. We have the people who are going to speak before the Supreme Court come in and workshop their arguments in front of us. Mm-hmm. And you're only allowed to attend if you're a guest of the council or a Georgetown student. Mm-hmm. So I go to as many of those as I can because this is I'm a Supreme Court nerd, and this is the only chance I have to go to these things. So I spend a lot of time doing that for fun. I am involved with my Balsa and Outlaw. I probably don't attend as many meetings as I should, but to be completely honest, like, you know, when you're a 1L, nobody expects you to do anything super intensive. Like, if you don't have the bandwidth, you don't have the bandwidth, and everyone understands.
Yeah.
So, you know, I try to go to a couple Balsa and Outlaw events when I have the time and when it's something interesting to me. I stay earning those Lexus points for my free Starbucks. So I go to all the Lexus events. Yes, like, while we talk about money, like, Lexus, seriously, you do the quiz, you go to their little webinars, and I get like, you know, 700 points a week from all the stuff I do for Lexus, and that's $10 Starbucks every week.
Yep. So what activities am I involved in? So I didn't like run for anything that you had to be like elected by students for, but so I did apply to be the 1L rep for Entertainment Law Association. So I did get that. I'm one of 3 people that are the reps, 1L reps. Of course, I was going to do that. There are like 2 other organizations I want to try to be 1L rep for too. Not going to tell you guys just yet because I'll tell you guys if I get it. If I don't, I mean, I'll still tell you, but still, I won't tell you right now. And then, but for the 1L rep though, like all it entails really is like sending out events, going to meetings, like giving them ideas and stuff, like making sure that people are aware of like what Entertainment Law Association does. It doesn't require much more, like Alyssa said, unless I want it to require more. Like if I want to like plan all these events and get all these great ideas, I can, but really it's just like me sharing stuff. Like, hey guys, don't forget Entertainment Law was doing this on Wednesday night. It's just like that. Like other things that I go to like meetings for though, there's a lot of stuff. So like I go to BOSA meetings, obviously, which I've been to most of them, but it's because like they're usually super laid back. And so it gives me like a break from stuff. So I usually go to those. There's a group called Law and Entrepreneurship, like about like helping startups and stuff. I go to those meetings. Labor and Employment, I went to one meeting for that just because like I don't know if I'm interested. So I wanted to learn more about that. Intellectual Property, I just reached out to them. I want to go to more meetings because I think I'm realizing I'm interested in soft IP. See, I'm learning so much about myself. And then what else? Oh, that we have like a group called the Older, Wiser Law Students. They call it OWLs. It's literally called OWLs. So like I went to like 1 or 2 of those meetings. Yeah, exactly. So I've just been like going to other, I don't know, there's something else I'm missing too. Oh, Business Law Association, that one too. So I go to their meetings too. They have like a lot of good panels and stuff. So like I've just been like going to different stuff, but like, I don't know, I'll do a video later on like stuff that I like really, really enjoy. But of course, Entertainment Law was like the number one thing I thought I wanted to be interested in, but I don't know. I'll do an update video because I've been exposed to a lot of things in this short time that I think I may be more interested in. So yeah.
Undergrad where it's like you have to be a member of this club and you have to show up to this many meetings or you're not a member. Like I see something that seems interesting to me, I go.
Yep, exactly. And it's really good to do that though, because you get exposed to so much, and you like a lot of people that I've talked to, what they thought they wanted to do when they came in, they're not doing that. Like when I say most, I mean like 90% of the people I've talked to. Have you talked to a lot of people that are doing what they thought they were going to do? I haven't.
So, I mean, like, I'm not even doing what I wrote my
exactly.
statement on. Like, I'm the queen of I found something I like better. And it's just like, you know, like, it's 1L. Like, you're not supposed to know what you want to do. You're supposed to go to all the events and get the free pizza and free booze. Or so I guess we don't get that anymore, but like all the events and just like talk to random people and like take down emails and be like, yeah, I'll get in touch with you, and then never get in touch with them. Like, that's just, it's 1L. Like, you're literally out there trying and seeing whatever you like. And so the 1L is the most intense year I've heard. Nobody expects you to be super active on campus.
True.
I go to things and they'll be like, oh, you're a 1L and you're here? Like, wow. Like,
yeah.
like, you didn't expect anyone else to come to this event. So like, you know, it's activities are really laid back in law school.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've already been like going to like firms have been doing like these diversity things, and I've already been going, and they're like, oh, you guys are all 2Ls or 3Ls. I'm like, I'm a 1L. I just wanted to be here. So,
have you noticed that?
What?
They're just like, okay, come back in a year when you figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, and I'm just like, well, some people, it's like the reactions have been different. I don't know, maybe because the people that I've been talking to have mostly been Black. They're trying to be supportive, but if they weren't Black, I don't know how the conversation would have went, to be honest. So, you know, like, because I feel like another thing about this time that we're in is that a lot of these firms are like really, really trying to increase their diversity. So I don't know. I think that'll be good for us.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully. So yeah, they've been doing a lot of like, oh, let's do this for like black partners. Like I met like a lot of Black partners already, and you hear that like being Black and making partners like hard, which obviously it is, but like talking to them and being like, oh, like you're like a normal regular person, but you're a partner at the freaking #1 law firm, you know? So yeah, like meeting those people is just like, it's just helpful. I think it encourages you too. So just go to stuff to stay encouraged, I would say, because law school can be discouraging.
It's a nice break. You know, sometimes like the Supreme Court Institute is my favorite thing to spend time on, because it takes like 3 hours every time, and it's a big chunk of my time, but it reminds me why I'm here. Yeah, it's like inspiring to listen to people practice their argument and then go onto C-SPAN in a couple days and hear them actually give that argument in front of the Supreme Court. Like, you know, you have to do things to keep things in perspective. Yeah, and that's a benefit of going to Georgetown too. Like being right there in DC, I'm pretty sure I think people that go to Georgetown get benefits that people that go to other law schools will never understand. Like you do. You want to practice in DC, you need to go to Georgetown. Yeah. Or a school in DC. Yeah, Howard, somewhere. But yeah, if you want to practice in DC, go to a school in DC. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, what other questions? Well, I guess we can go ahead and touch on this one. I think we can wrap up the video, but I have a very important question for you, and I know you have an answer. So you looked at all of our previous videos, which guys, I'll put our previous videos down below. Is there anything that you said in those videos that you want to take back? Everything? Just kidding. I think so. You know, it's funny. First of all, it was fun watching all of our old videos and seeing how far we've come. We were so excited, and we were all like scared, and we were cute. Yeah. But like, first of all, like, I think I said in the biggest, most important thing that I need to correct is I was like, that one video where we were talking about big law or bust, and I was like, oh, I just need to be in the top 50%. That's not a good mentality to have. Okay. I think grades matter. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, obviously it's not the end of the world if you aren't on, you know, if you're not top third or whatever, but you really need to try your best. Because honestly, like, even if you're doing straight PI, like, even if you do not care about law firms, you know, the better grades you have, just the more opportunities you're gonna get. And like even like if you want to do PI, like the ACLU or legal aid, or like you know, one of my friends, he had to work really hard to get into a prosecutor's office in New York City. You know, like, you have to have, you know, even like government and PI will look for good grades sometimes. So, you know, do not have the mentality of, oh, I just need to do better than the next person. Do your best. Put your effort into it. Yeah, for sure. That's the biggest thing I need to correct that I said. Right. And then also, you know, I think a lot of language that I used with the big law or bust, you know, I want to do white collar crime right now on October 23rd. You know, I'm very interested in white collar crime and FCPA investigations. And there's a lot of options in both public and private. Like Georgetown, I don't know if UCLA is like this, but we separate out our public interest and our private sector career offices. So we have 2 career offices. And I go to both because honestly, and I'm going to be applying to government internships this year as well as firm internships. And I can, you know, for the type of law I want to practice, there's a lot of government, especially being in DC, like, you know, this is all very DC tinted, but everything in DC touches the government. And, you know, you really shouldn't write off government or public interest just because you think you want to practice a certain type of law, which is what I did. And then also, conversely, don't write off private sector if you want to do public interest.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, I never want to practice big law. And I'm like, but you don't know. You don't know.
So. Well, no, exactly. Like one of the girls I worked with over the summer, she told me, she was like, I didn't even think about big law until I got invited to OCI, and then I liked it so much, and now she's at big law. You know, so it's like you never want to ever close yourself off to any options. And I really regret that video because I was just like, oh yeah, I don't care about PI. Like, oh God.
Wait, and then was that a 2-part video?
That was a 2-part video. I sat there with that horrible take for 2 parts. Like, no, a job is a job. Like, practice the type of law focus on the type of law you want to practice. Exactly. Focus on the things you want to do. Focus on, you know, if you don't like litigation, you know, if you don't.
But some people say they only want to do litigation or only want to do transactional, and they end up doing the opposite of that. Like, you literally never know. So I just feel like going into this and being closed off and saying, now at the same time though, like if you know something is a passion and a dream, work for it. Don't let anybody push you the other way. But if that dream isn't working out, don't be so just stuck on that one thing that now you don't have a job.
Yeah. It's like follow your passions, but don't close any doors. Yeah. Never speak bad about a firm.
Yeah.
Never speak bad about a type of job. Never speak bad about a class.
Yeah.
Like honestly, you never know. I mean, I was talking to one of my professors who had a really, really amazing career. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, I was like, is that like, how did you pull that off? Like, how did you plan that? And he was like, I don't know. I just said yes to everything that came across my plate. Yeah. And it's like, that's the type of mentality you need to have. Because honestly, you really don't know. Like it almost kind of scares me to this point now when people are like, I want to be X. And you're just like, do you even know what that entails? Like, you know, go shadow people and get exposure. Mm-hmm. But like, don't close any doors. And you know, you could so many people think they want to be a prosecutor.
Yeah.
For example, I'll pick on prosecutors. Like, do you know like the hours that you work with that job and then the pay you get? Like, you know, it's like just don't ever bet on anything. It's explore everything and don't turn your nose up at anything because you never know.
Exactly. I definitely agree. I think that going into this, even like if like Alyssa was saying though, if you know you want to do a certain type of law, even within that type of law, I bet there are like 10 things it breaks down into. So like you really need to do like research. Even like, I was thinking entertainment was this. Entertainment law is literally every other type of law, but for entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
Really. So, and I think a lot of people don't understand that it's like, no, entertainers need every other type of lawyer. You're just working with entertainers as a client. They still buy houses. They still open businesses. They still have criminal issues. So like, it's literally doing all that stuff, but just for entertainers as your client. So
people will talk about corporate law.
Yeah, it's like,
I put that in quotes because people misuse corporate so many times. Corporate law is not big law. Corporate law is mergers and acquisitions.
It is
putting together
finance,
securities. It's finance. It's it's a subset of transactional law. Yeah. So it's always funny to me when people are like, oh, I want to be a corporate law litigator, because it's like, do you know what you're saying? And it's like, also like big law. I don't think people realize what big law is.
Yeah, it's just the firm count. Like, I don't think people get that. Big law was literally just the number of people at the firm.
And I was laughing at us talking about big law, the big law video, because none of us knew what big law was.
It's just the number of people at the firm. Like, I think people think big law means like you only work on these huge, like they think it means big contracts, big money, big everything. Even another thing, if you want to practice big law, when you think you're going to be one of those people that automatically makes that 190, all cities, all states do not make 190 in big law.
No. That's the New York and DC price.
New York, DC. I looked it up. I just looked it up. New York, DC, LA, and I want to say Houston just got added to the list. It's like Houston or Dallas. It's one of those places. But even like Atlanta, you said what?
Chicago, maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't think. From what I've heard, only certain firms in Chicago. I talked to somebody that works in Chicago, and they were like, it's only certain firms. In Atlanta, it's only certain firms. So that's what I'm saying. Don't bank on that.
No. And it's like also like so many people are like, oh, big law or bust. Like I was just talking to a woman from it's like a mid-sized firm or a boutique firm.
Yeah.
And she does all the things I want to do. And she gets to do more of it. And it's like, and she gets paid. Well, I don't know what she gets paid, but you go on the website for the firm she works at and they are paying on par.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like, when you say big law or bust, you sound kind of silly, because honestly, there are mid-sized firms on the Vault 100.
There are, and then also, but it's so crazy because we had the same situation. I talked to someone who's doing exactly what I think I want to do, and he definitely works in a firm that has like less than 15 people, and I can assure you he's making good money. So if you're only wanting big law just for the money, it would not make sense to you to go to that and work 90 hours a week and do nothing but due diligence just for that money, when you could go to a mid-sized firm, be more actually involved, make the same pay, and probably work maybe instead of 80 hours, you work 60, but still like you can, it's just crazy. You need to talk to people. That's one thing I've been doing too, is networking. My ear just came on. My ear's so loud. But,
the biggest thing I would correct myself on
is
I thought that because I had work experience and because I had a master's, and I don't say this as a dig to you because I know you have the same experience, but like I knew nothing. And that's really the mindset you need to come in with. I don't, you could be a paralegal for 35 years. I don't care. You don't know anything about law school till you're in school.
It doesn't
I don't know anything about law school right now, and I'm in it. Like, and like, even like this firm thing, we're just regurgitating stuff.
Yeah, we don't know yet. Keep in mind, we don't know yet. We're telling you what 50 other people have told us.
Exactly. And you know what? Tomorrow I will probably hear something to the opposite, and then I'm gonna have to come on here again and be like, I retract what I said. So it's just like, don't listen to zero else.
Yeah, and make it's your own experience. Definitely network though. If I could give like tip, I think my top tips would be like, focus on your grades, learn how to read properly, because doing all that reading is probably not going to get you anywhere. Learn how to read what you need to read early on, because that'll save you time and energy. Focus on your grades though. Even though you are graded blindly, it's still good to build relationships with your professors, because they write you letters of recommendation, especially if you want like diversity fellowship, stuff like that. If you want it for judicial clerkship, stuff like that, they're going to write you letters of recommendation. So still build the relationships, but also build relationships with everybody else. Network. Like, talk to people at firms, call around to different firms, do informational interviews, do like interviews, not like interviews, like talk to people that are going to firms that you want to go to. Like if there's 2Ls and 3Ls that worked at firms that you want to work at, talk to them. If there are people that have like taken classes that you think you want to take, talk to them. Like, I think I've gained the most information from networking. And talk to career services early too. I've already had a phone call with career services, like one-on-one with her. So I mean, and I've just been exposed to so much. And it's not even like overwhelming. It's actually like exciting, because it's like, dang, it's a lot I could do. It's like really a lot that I can do. So
yeah, no, really talk to everyone. Like, I went to the outlaw debate watch party last night. Super casual, super chill. started talking to one of the 3Ls. That 3L knew like 5 people who did the study abroad program that I want to do.
See?
And it's like, you know, talk to everyone. Even if you think that they have nothing to share with you, everybody knows maybe 1 or 2 things about this whole process that is, you know, really, really opaque and hard to navigate. Just help each other out. Like, just talk to everybody. And you know what? Take things with a grain of salt, obviously, when you talk to other students. But just take everything into consideration and just talk to everyone. Even if you think, oh, that person's dumb, like...
now you know what not to do. So, I mean, it all still works out.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, just... My last tip would be sign up for every opportunity to get mentoring or tutoring.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I have like 7 or 8 mentors.
Yeah.
Formal, and I think informally, I couldn't even tell you.
Oh literally, like I had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn, and at first I thought it was like maybe a scam or something, but I was like, you know what, like what's the worst that can happen? I get scammed.
Yeah.
Like, I'll stop talking to this person as soon as it sounds fishy. They were actually someone who's in a position that's really amazing. See? And it was like just because I talked to some stranger on LinkedIn, and it's like, you know what, like anybody who you'll learn, no matter what aspect of law you practice, that time is the most valuable thing. That's why like big law firms, that's why partners can bill what they bill for an hour of their time. Time is the currency in law.
Yeah. And
if anybody goes out of their way and takes even 15 minutes to talk to you, that is a gift.
It is. It is.
Even if it's your classmate. If it's your professor, I don't care who it is. It could be the person panhandling in front of your law school. Like
you never know. Especially in LA. You really never know. The person panhandling in front of your law school could have been like a freaking famous actor in 1950 for 10 years. Like you never know. You really never know, especially in LA. Like if you want to come to UCLA, even though it's law school, it is still very much like it's still LA. You still need to do, it's still about who you know. I'll just say that. Everything is who you know out here. And I've learned that very early on. So
be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
If there's another thing, sorry, I keep coming up with tips.
Keep going.
Guard your reputation. Be nice.
Yeah.
Like, don't be shady.
Yeah.
And don't be rude. Don't think you're good for nobody. Like, especially with you know, with everything on Zoom, like if your classmate reaches out, like even if they're annoying or like they're just asking for your notes or something like that, like, and it's something, just take a little bit of time to go the extra mile and be extra nice. And I can't tell you how many opportunities or how many talks that I've gone to that ended up being really great and made a connection with, because I was just simply nice to someone and they were like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to this tomorrow, you should come. Yeah. Or like, you know, I heard about this mentorship opportunity that's been really great for me, just because I was talking with some friends and they're like, oh, make sure you apply for this. Like, you know, just be nice to everybody. You really don't know. Like, and that includes everybody. I'm talking about like, be nice to like the little overworked research assistant that works with your professor. Be nice to that person. Be nice to your teaching assistant. Even though they tear your paper apart, my TA is now my best friend, because I think she could tell I was really paying attention and really taking her criticism to heart. When she was tearing apart my paper. And she gave me like really, really helpful feedback this time around because she knew I take it seriously.
Yeah, she knew you would appreciate it. Yeah, exactly.
So just be nice to everyone.
Exactly. And also I know something else that I did like another poll a while ago, and we'll end it after this, but I know something else people wanted to comment on was like, of course, like being Black during these times, and if you had any like crazy situations with people saying crazy stuff in class. Yeah, I have. I have had people say, not even just like nothing like super crazy that would be like a reason to like try to get them kicked out of school. Nothing that dramatic. But you have people that you definitely can tell what side they're on, and they're far on that side, if you get what I'm saying. And so you learn how to deal with those people, but also you learn how to not take everything so personal too. But also, if you're somebody that's passionate about something, like there are people I know that are very passionate about immigration, passionate about rights for everyone. And so if that's a passion of yours, definitely, you're in law school, speak your mind, but just do it respectfully.
Yeah. I mean, law is inherently personal.
Yeah.
Law touches every aspect of our lives. So you are going to talk about things that affect you. You, as a person of color, you're going to talk about things that affect you more than other people. And it's frustrating. The law was racist, sexist, whatever. Like we know, we've been know all these things.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky in my section. We have people who are, you know, based on their work history and everything, are very clearly on opposite sides from me.
Yeah.
But we really have the best people in my section. I cannot talk, like other sections have had like fights and stuff. Yeah. Everyone in my section is so respectful.
Yeah.
And you know, I think you can disagree on things and you can think somebody has wrong ideas. But it's law school and the whole point is to learn how to defend your position. So, you know, like the nice thing is like nobody will ever say something that you can't respond to.
Exactly. And that's another thing too. Like you can't let someone say something to a point that it gets you to like where you're not able to speak or defend yourself. No, if you're in law school and you're in the class and you're having that conversation, I have one professor, he makes a point to let everyone speak on both sides if we're talking about something like that. So speak up. If it's something that you're really bothered by, speak up. Say exactly how you feel. Don't get crazy in class, but say how you feel.
And then on certain issues, because you know, some issues are just like clear cut. But then there's some issues where you have to be able to look at both sides.
Yeah.
Some issues, like not all. Like there's some lines you can't cross, but sometimes you have to look at both sides.
Yeah, because also one thing about law school too is that people are coming from every different path of life. And so people are going to have different opinions because there's things they've never even been exposed to before. They didn't even know this existed. They didn't even know that was a thing. Like some people are really, I guess the proper word would be ignorant. Not like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but they're uneducated about certain things. And so it's not your job to educate anyone, but you know, keep that in mind.
We were watching a video on Stop and Frisk, and some people were like, I have never seen this before in my life. And you know what? Like, okay, like you can't fault people for being born where they are or growing up the way they did. You can fault them for being willfully ignorant, but sometimes people really just don't know. Sometimes, and that goes for both types. Because honestly, you know, when you're as a person of color, you know, you gotta. I hate to say it, but you also have to learn how to, in law school, unless you're going to a law school that is for like an HBCU or something, you have to learn to work with white people.
Yeah, I think people don't understand that because I do get some people that DM me or say stuff, and like the way they'll say it, I'm like, I would hope you wouldn't say it like that in class because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to learn how to work with certain people, and it shouldn't be a divide. Like everybody, can everybody just work together? Like I don't know how to touch on this. Stop me if I say something crazy because you know I'm not good at voicing my opinion sometimes. But another thing is, I'm going to try to say this in the most honest way I can as someone who struggled with stuff like this too. I know like mental health is a big thing. I know we definitely need to discuss it. I know people say, you know, focusing on mental health. Even I tell people that I am a strong advocate of that. But I also think that when you go into this 1L year, you might want to set an understanding with yourself at the beginning that there are going to be some very, very difficult days where you're going to be drained, you're going to be tired, you're going to want to give up. You're not going to have the energy, but you really have to push yourself. And I've talked to a few people and I'm like, I understand that you are stressed out, you're tired, but you haven't read in a week. You know, there has to be a balance. And I'm not a therapist. I don't know what to tell people, but I just would say, try to figure out your mental health before law school, because then I think you'll be in a better situation. Because if you're coming in now and you can't, I don't know how to explain it, but you got to keep pushing is what I'm saying.
No, you're absolutely right. You have to build resiliency. And like, so I struggle with mental health. I've been very, very honest and open about that in the past. I have struggled with anxiety ever since I was a kid. Like I've gotten panic attacks ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's something that if I want to be a lawyer, I have to learn how to handle that in a way that is productive. And so, you know, yes, take mental health days when you need them. Mm-hmm. Yes, you know, go talk to someone, take time off, like take care of your mental health.
For sure.
But don't let mental health become law school, the whole point of law school is you have to push yourself.
Yeah.
It's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
Literally. Elena Kagan, Justice Kagan on the Supreme Court, got a B- in contracts. And that's the lowest grade you can get. At the school.
There's hope. Like, also, yeah, don't, like, I think a lot of people too, like, when they get their grades and they're not as good, they go, I don't know. And I'm like, there's still hope. Like, do you really think all you are is a number? Like, you also can't have that mindset either where it's like it's grades or nothing. Like, it's a balance of everything. And so I feel like if you start working on your mental health before, that'll help you out. I'm not saying that it's easy, but start figuring out stuff that works for you.
Yeah. You know? It's going to hurt. It is going to hurt. You're going to stretch yourself and you're going to have to grow. And that's the point of law school. I mean, it's literally hazing. We can talk about that later, about whether that needs to change or not. Yeah. I'm not going to make any statements on that before I get hired. But like, you know, law school is designed to be tough. Yeah. We're being broken down. You're learning a new way to think. It's gonna suck. You're talking about tough conversations every day with concepts that are hard to understand, with no time to do the things that you usually do to take care of yourself. So, you know, recognize you're gonna have a couple breakdowns. You're gonna have to crack a couple eggs. But you're gonna get a lovely omelet at the end, right? Yeah, like just think of the end goal. Every day that I'm tired, I'm like, but if you just got up and read right now and study, this could all be over, and you could actually come out of this better on the other side. This is where we run into the thing. This is where we come full circle, but we don't know. We don't know. You have to have faith. Faith. And on that note, so yeah, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that. I'll link the videos down below. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Alyssa and I will be here to answer them. She comes in the comments and answers questions, so she'll respond to you guys too. So yeah, bye guys.